What's up, everybody? This is the Gym Therapy Inc. podcast. Please follow along with us as we try to bring mental health awareness to a small western Pennsylvania town. Let's go.
Hello with you. I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
On the trust tree in the nest, are we not?
I would never want to belong to any club that would have someone like me for a member.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm going to do an episode. I'm going to do it a little bit solo. Not a little bit solo. I'm going to do it completely solo because I'm solo. I asked the girls and Jesse and if they minded. No one really did. We're going to talk about Damar Hamlin football, and it was a tough thing. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about Gym Therapy Inc. and Green Fire CrossFit. Green Fire CrossFit, certified nutritionist and certified CrossFit coach, physical trainer Trista Long has decided that she's going to give everybody the first month of the year free. So January is free at Green Fire CrossFit, and you don't have to worry about any culty CrossFit style treatment there either. I think she is very mean and makes me hurt all the time, but she won't do that to you. But she'll push you enough that you'll start to feel better. You know, with exercise, you got endorphins, all that jazz. It'll make you feel a lot better. I don't need to sell you on the benefits of exercise. You just need to go out and do it on yourself. This episode's also brought to you in affiliation with Spring Dam Brewery Company in Roaring Spring. It is a prohibition style brewery run by a friend of mine, Anita Baker, and her daughter just opened the Vault, which is a cafe in there too. And now it's a brewery. Just understand if you have alcohol issues, don't go. They have great food though. Sunday they're going to do Southern Fried Chicken with Belgian waffles from 11 to 2. And they are open 11 to 4. Wednesday night, tomorrow night, which would probably be tonight, it's actually tonight, but you're going to miss it, but it is trivia night. Celebrities Lost in 2022. Everything's themed there. It's a great place. They have live music Friday night. The Pines will be there from 7 to 10. Saturday, we'll have live music. Dr. Dave and Erica will be there from 7 to 10. But it's really a fantastic place if you're down in Blair County. Anita did such a good job. We'll talk about her some other time, but she was a really, really great friend, a leader, a teammate. She pointed out a lot of things to me over the years, and we worked together for about 7 years. She's just a really good person. Her daughters are fantastic. They're really good people. Her son-in-law, actually, if you want to follow Frozen Trident Kennel on Instagram, he one time smuggled a dog, a stray, out of Afghanistan because he just met the dog, and that's something you have to do. And that's an incredible story. And he has, last time I looked, I don't know, 40,000 some followers on Instagram. So I would check him out. I'll put some pictures and some notes in this with food and whatnot on there, because you obviously know, if you're listening to this, you know I'm an eater. All right, so Damar Hamlin. Monday night around 5-6 p.m. I was sitting here, and I don't know if these two things are related, but I was sitting and my stomach was just like nauseous. Nothing else, just a little bit of nausea. And I said to Megan, I was like, man, I can't wait to watch this game tonight. And I do think Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, they're both top fivers in the league. I think Josh Allen possibly could be. He might not have at the end of his career, he might be one of the best quarterbacks ever. I know Tom Brady's in there, but half his Super Bowls don't even count, so I don't care about that. Joe Burrow is just going to be. He's a winner. He's great. He's one of my favorite football players of all time. But what happened, obviously, T. Higgins caught a pass, come across the middle, and he hit Damar Hamlin right in the chest. T. Higgins had nothing to do with this. He just happened to be in there. When I saw the play, I didn't think that I didn't think the hit warranted the result. And I know that might sound a little funny to you, but it was just the hit was so perfect. and I don't mean perfect in a good way. I mean, it just happened to hit him right in the chest. And you can find all the medical stuff online why it happened. And it just hit him in the perfect time that his heart stopped beating. And when your heart stops beating, I mean, you're technically dead for a few minutes. And when I saw it happen, like he hit, and then he stood up, and then when he died, fell. I thought, my God, that guy's dead. Um, Fortunately for him, um, he did it on a football field where there is medical attention immediately. It's a 24-year-old guy with a extremely healthy heart through diet and exercise. Once again, um, had that been you or I, we wouldn't be here. Um, and that's big because when you're playing sports, and I'm very curious about what the fallout's going to be on this. I'm very curious about how parents are going to react. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't think I think there's going to be a knee jerk reaction. It would not make me not want to play the game anymore because you can't live your life scared. If you live your life scared, that's when your anxiety, that's when it wins. So uh, I would be curious to talk to more friends and family about what they think about it. It's the odds of this happening are the same as being struck by lightning. It's just not something that happens. In 1971, there was a player that was killed on the field. There was a soccer player 2 years ago that went through the same thing, but when he was good the same day. What was so eerie and unique about this was you could tell by the reaction on Stephon Diggs's face, and you could tell just the reaction on the field. There was just this eerie silence, and I don't even know how to explain it. Most of you, if you looked at that post I put on our page, you can see why you felt like that. That there's some technical terms in there that I'm not getting into. Also, Monday night, there's a police officer in Brackenridge that was killed. He's a chief. His name's Justin McIntyre. And I know there's probably a lot of you sitting here thinking, well, why don't we talk more about them and the soldiers that are killed too? And I think over the years we've become desensitized to that stuff. I know that I don't have any immediate friends. I do have a couple of immediate friends that are police officers, but I don't see them every day. I don't talk to them every day. Um, I've never been a police officer. I've never been a soldier. I have, I spent 13 of my first 18 years playing football, and I thought about it every day, and I acted on it every day, and it was an outlet for me, even though I didn't realize it. Because in real life, whenever you make a mistake or you do something, you have to kind of reflect and go on and do it. In football or baseball or basketball, it was like, all right, let's hit the gym. Let's shoot foul shots. Let's run plays. Let's get out in the field. Let's throw. Let's lift. Let's get bigger. Let's get faster. Let's get stronger. There were simple fixes to that sort of stuff in life, and in real life, things aren't that simple. But you kind of have to take the same approach. You kind of have to go back to the lab and take care of yourself. But Monday night, there was a woman, and I don't know her name. She's the one that took charge. She actually said, "Hey, Josh, Joe Burrow, get your players, give Damon Hamlin the privacy, surround your players around them." She is the one that grabbed the defibrillator. She's the one that directed traffic to um, get the ambulance. If I can find her name between now and the time I edit and post this, I will put her name in it. But the PFT commentator on Pardon My Take through Barstool Sports, he kind of said it best. There's two places in the world that he would want to have this happen to him. He said on a football field, because within a few minutes he was getting CPR, and he said the other place would be inside an emergency room, which is kind of right. As I said before, had this happen to you or I, it would be, you don't get that in 10 minutes. You're probably dead. This is a pretty significant thing, and I don't think I need to kind of explain any more about that. Football games are very, very, very physical, and they're physical. Um, it's one of those things when you're on the field, you're anxious, you're nervous, and then the first play happens and you get hit, and it's like, okay, relax, game on, we can do this. And Coach Jim Harbaugh of Michigan, who just lost in the semifinals of the national championship, he claims the human body craves contact. It needs to be wrestled around. It needs to be fought, and I'm sure there's ways you're following me here. But in you have to be physical. And there's a lot of times people will knock the Steelers like, why are you running? Why are you running up the middle? Why are you running up the middle? You run up the middle in the first quarter, and when you do that sort of stuff, the linemen are going forward and they're getting banged and they're getting hit and they're basically in mini car crashes where quarterback hands off the ball is out of the play, running back gets in there. The best running backs never take solid hits. They can kind of squirm and weasel their way in between people. They do take hits to the side and whatnot, but the best running backs don't take hits head on unless it is situationally they should. And so they don't quite, they do get hit in the head a lot, but they kind of shifty. They're kind of shifty. Quarterbacks, when they do get hit, they used to get hit very hard, and now, thankfully, they don't. Um, and I know there's a lot of people that will be like, well, NFL should, play two hand touch and they should play flag football or they should put dresses on the people. Um, a lot of those same people are the ones that are knocking the NFL right now for how they handled the Damar Damon situation. And you can't have it both ways. You can't have it safe, and you can't have it uh, people going as fast and as big and as strong as they are. Right now, the average NFL lineman's like well over 300 pounds. It's I don't know the number, but it's like 350. I remember watching the um, uh, Cowboys Bills Super Bowl in the mid 90s, and what came up was uh, it was the biggest lineman in NFL history, and they averaged 300 pounds. If you go to a local high school right now, you will see a high school, 18-year-old kids, 17, 16-year-old kids, you will see 300-pound linemen. And you cannot have 300-pound linemen that run sub 540s. And you can't have guys that are 230 pounds that run 4.340s and whatnot. And take hits like that. Your brain just cannot handle it. And back in the day, 314 and 8 pounds is what they weigh, the average NFL lineman. And 10 years ago, it was 15 years ago, 20 years ago, it was like 280. That's 30 pounds. That's a small child. It's a Labrador. Labradors are smaller. It's like a border collie. Um, your head, whenever you get hit, no matter what the outside protectiveness is, your head, whenever you get hit, your brain sits in like this little bit of a gel. And when you get hit, your head stops moving, but your brain starts moving. It's like when you're in a car and the bottles you didn't never throw out of your car fall forward and hit everything. That's what your brain does. It comes forward and hits your head and it damages your brain. So you can't take that out of the game. The best way to do it is if you've seen the players with those egg crate looking things on the outside of their helmet during the game. That kind of slows down that click, that ringing, that big helmet to helmet. But I don't think the NFL is ever going to adopt that because they don't really care about player safety like they say they do, but it's a multi-billion-dollar business, and I don't know if it still is, but at one time, and I know it's been up to at least a couple years ago, the NFL is a non-profit. The NFL operated under the same way that we operate. So certain things, taxes, they had so many breaks. The NFL is. I love the players. I love the game. Um, NFL itself is a pretty. It's a pretty crooked business, but I also, man, the world of business is so tough. I don't want to say it's crooked. The NFL itself is a very hard business, and there are some shady things going on, and they don't care about player safety. They want is money. They want entertainment, and they're gonna continue to play as I think we should. I really don't want football to go away from this, but if it saves lives, I don't know. I just think by the Super Bowl, people will completely forget about it. I know that how I played the game was I tried to play it within moral and ethical rules. I remember this game. I was only 14, and I was playing. It was a school that recruits players. I'm kidding. It was Bishop Carroll, and one of their running backs. I was a corner, and he came on my side, and he hit the D end kind of square. But when he hit him, his shirt came up, and his ribs were exposed, and he was going down, but I was uh, heading towards him, and I was gonna hit him, but as he was going down, uh, there's no need to. And after the game, I was talking to one of my friend's dads, and I was like, his ribs were exposed. Like I could hit him. He's like, I would have hit him. He said he would have hit you too. He's like, you break his ribs, you get him out of the game. It's the only game we lost that year, and we lost it by 2 points. So um, that's just not that's just not how I played. It's not how the game should be played. Uh, I know that the modern NFL plays a lot of passing, and it is a lot across the middle. And when you go across the middle, it's very dangerous. That's why they took some of those plays out. And Hamlin a couple weeks ago was involved in one of those. He was involved in a head-to-head collision, and he's been thrown out of games. And he was thrown out of games at Pitt, and on the field and off the field, he's a little bit different. He's got these charities, and he seems like a great young man from Western Pennsylvania. But did did him going across did him previously get ejected for targeting influence his decision whenever he hit T. Higgins? If he would have put his head down and shoulder the other side, maybe that doesn't happen. But he's upright, and Higgins hits him right in the chest, and at the perfect timing. It is so complicated to move that fast, to make decisions that fast, and there are so many people that are so critical of these guys and say, put on a dress. You can't even hit people anymore. Um, Linemen have it the worst though, because it's just that bang, bang, bang. And I've heard linemen say this before. When you pass all game, so in pass protection, linemen, good stance, arms out, they're staying in their position and they're moving backwards slowly. They're moving backwards slowly. Well, there's something in lineman's head. If you're moving backwards slowly, it affects how you play. It affects your brain. And I thought this is funny. If you're always moving backwards, it obviously affects you like that in a negative way. Linemen say we love the run because when you're run blocking, you're moving forward. So not only do you have to establish the run, just so you do establish your physical presence, and uh, you do physically hurt your guys, and at the end of the game, that uh, imposing your will is very important to close out football games. So, and that's how the playoffs are won too. Uh, it, I just this was really tough, really tough. Like when it happened, I kind of mentioned like at the beginning, I felt weird, and I don't think it was a premonition. I think it's just a coincidence. I don't know, but I've also heard a couple other people talking about that. I think that's confirmation bias. It's like, yeah, I thought something was going to happen, and then it did. So maybe we did, maybe we didn't. Um, I just I thought this was something that we needed to talk about. I thought this was something that's really important, and it hits home with a lot of people. And I hope this was interesting. I hope you maybe learned a little bit about football, but a couple of things I don't know. But yeah, just take care of your loved ones. That was I'm sure Mrs. Hamlin didn't go into that game thinking I might lose my son tonight. You know, and the NFL did a good job about getting her down in the stands and onto the field without any credentials and getting her into the ambulance so she could ride with her son. This was a big deal. It hit really close to home for a lot of us, and I've seen players on my own teams have to be life flighted. I saw one get life flighted, but then came back to uh, the gym we were sleeping in. It was during camp, three practices a day, and was put all the beds together and was WWE style DDTing people. So that was one of the dumbest things. He just was on a life flight and then came back and did it. But that's the dumb things that teenage guys do. Uh, but all right, guys. Thank you for listening to this solo episode, and hopefully it turned out pretty good. But as always, love you guys, and go outside. It's nice out. Go outside when it's not nice out too. Don't slip and fall.